Hey familia, Igni here. This video is sponsored by Cygames. Check out the link to download Shadowverse in the video description below. The hype cycle just keeps going as the new expansion comes closer and closer, and today we're going to be talking about my first impressions on a couple of the new cards that have been revealed, and actually a lot of new cards have been revealed. So the first one is Council of Card Knights, a new Swordcraft card. 5 play points, summon a Club Soldier, Heart Guardian, and Spade Raider, and those are these tokens here. They're all 3 play point, 1/3 neutral cards, actually not a sword follower or officer or commander, which I find interesting. And they all have different abilities. So one has Bane, one has Storm, and the other has Ward. This card seems like really good, I think. It can generate so much value for 5 play points. The only problem is that I think that sword is it's quite tightly built, so it's hard to see like what you cut for something like this. But if they're gonna push neutral for sword, then having 3 minions with great abilities come out with nice stat points on turn 5, I guess that's one way to do it. You can also evolve this on, if you're going first, you can evolve a Bane to get rid of something big, and you still have a Storm and a Ward on board. It's quite valuable. And you pair it with stuff like Alice to buff it, you can buff your whole board after this, although that is a little bit more situational. Next card that we want to talk about is Carabosse, Wicked Fairy, the Bloodcraft legendary. This card is really cool, and I love the direction this is going. Like a tangent here. I'm really glad that Cygames seems to be experimenting with more interesting effects, more unique and innovative effects, and this is one such thing, which I think is really interesting, and it's also like not terrible, so it can actually see play. Like Ginger is a good effect, but like it's pretty bad right now. Well, they did say they were going to print more support for it in this expansion, but I love seeing effects that really change the playstyle of the game. Carabosse Wicked Fairy, it's a 6 play point 6/6 fanfare for the remainder of this match. You will not gain a play point at the start of your turn. For the remainder of this match, draw 1 card and deal 1 damage to the enemy leader at the end of your turn. These effects will continue even if this follower leaves the area. Now this is really cool. So basically, it's a 6 play point 6/6, which is just insane stat-wise, but you don't gain any more play points, right? But you cast Magic Missile on the opponent's face at the end of every turn, and this stacks. I hear that this stacks, so you can have 3 Carabosses and deal 3 damage and draw 3 cards, and this seems pretty insane in stuff like Aggro Blood, where you don't really need to go that far above 6 play points anyway, like maybe 7 for Soul Dominator and stuff like that. And you don't even have to play this on 6, you could play this like later on in the game as well. Still have access to all your 10 play points, but also have a permanent effect that just keeps going. And I love that they have effects like this, which change the playstyle of the game, because, you know, in general, Shadowverse is a very low variance game. You know, you have, you gain a mana every turn, or you gain a play point every turn, you have evolve points every game, and it's not a lot of variance. It's not, so you need to compensate for that with different interesting playstyles, wherein people can interact with each other, and not just have it be curve-verse. So I really like effects like this that take it into an interesting direction. Master of Draconic Arts, 3 play point 1/4 Dragoncraft Silver Ward. Clash, gain +4/+0 until the end of the turn if Overflow is active for you. It's a 3 play point 1/4 Ward already, which isn't terrible. It's kind of like an imp, right? +4/+0 until the end of the turn if Overflow is active for you. Yeah, I can't really see this being that good, honestly. 1/4 for 3 is not great because you don't trade well at that point in the game. I mean, I guess you can ramp into Overflow, right? Still, this doesn't seem like it's going to be that valuable. Runecraft Legendary, Wizardess of Oz, 5 play point 4/5 fanfare. Draw cards until there are 5 cards in your hand. Change the cost of the spells without spell boost in your hand to 1. Last words, at the start of your next turn, banish all spells in your hand. This card is cool. I really like this card because it's an interesting rune legendary that doesn't make D-Shift or Daria stronger. And I think that's really hard to design, frankly, because I thought cards like that would really limit design space, but this card seems to not, you know, really affect cards like that, because it changes the cost of spells without spell boost in your hand to 1, not cards with spell boost, right? So it's a 5 play point 4/5, which is vanilla stats also, so it's fine to play on 5. You draw 5 cards, or you draw until there are 5 cards. So this is really good in stuff like Aggro Rune, right? So you play, for example, Aggro E-Ride or something. You draw like Demonic Strikes. You can go and hit them for 3 for 1 mana, which is really great. It's basically making more Crimson Sorceries in a way. Last words at the start of your turn, banish all spells in your hand. So what you could do is you could run like Winter's Caprice, right, and send this back to your hand. Summon a bunch of snowmen. You have a ton of 1-cost spells. You don't like the body doesn't die, so the last words doesn't activate. But at the same time, it's also a punish that if you do get this killed, you lose all your spells. Yeah, this is really cool. I love the design of this. I don't know how good it will be. I think it's definitely a consideration for more aggressive rune decks, for sure. Because it's like Melvian that it draws you cards. when you run out of fuel. So yeah, this is cool. I like this card. I like this card a lot. Elder Tortoise, Dragoncraft 4, play point 2/4. Recover 1 evolution point if overflow is active for you. Actually, this thing is actually not that bad, right? You think about it, it's kind of like a 4 play point 4/6 with Rush, and that's good stats. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Moriana the Bejeweled from Blood, but overflow is a lot easier of a condition to get than Vengeance. Well, it used to be. I don't know how easy. I mean, Vengeance is pretty easy to get now with Soul Dealer and Belphegor and all that, but I don't know though. Because you just play it as a vanilla 4 play point 2/4, it's bad. But if you have any ramp at all, you can get to overflow pretty quickly. I think it's okay. Good take 2 card for sure. Haunted House, 1 play point. Bronze Shadowcraft Amulet, countdown 3 whenever an allied follower, excluding ghosts, is destroyed during your turn, summon a ghost. So you can't just infinitely chain ghosts. So I guess these ghosts should mostly be used for finishing off trades, right? I'm glad it's ghosts so that doesn't add to the shadow count. Like, it's a good effect, but it doesn't seem that necessary in lists like aggro and mid-range. It seems superfluous. Because you can clear the board so easily anyway. And Death Ledger Nap also. They have like Foul Tempest and stuff like that. I don't think it's that good. Maisy, Red Riding Hood, Swordcraft Officer. 2 play point 2/2, gold card. So it's a vanilla 2 play point 2/2, but it evolves and destroys an enemy follower of an allied neutral follower's play. It destroys them, and you get full of evolve stats too. And it's also an officer. Oh man, yeah, this is a boon for like neutral control sword. You can play Grimnir on 3, and if it lives, you can play Maisy on 4, and evolve it to destroy something big. Or if you're late in the game, you could play Council of Card Knights actually and play this. I think this will see play in Control Sword. Whether or not Control Sword is good is another question altogether. But if that archetype arises, I think this card will see play in that deck. Lethal Blade. 3 play point gold spell from Blood. Choose an enemy follower. Whenever the follower attacks, it will deal 3 damage to itself. If Vengeance is active for you, give this effect to all enemy followers instead. Whenever the follower attacks, which means that it procs before the attack gets in. It's pretty easy to get to Vengeance too. And this will deal with the board flood, right? I like how it's an interesting board clear, right? It's not just straightforward, deal this damage. It's the enemy has to decide. But I guess the enemy would have to, attack it anyway, because otherwise you just have dead space on your board, right? It gives Vengeance Blood sort of something to go back to against like aggressive board flood decks like Sword when they put themselves into Vengeance, which makes it quite powerful. Yeah, I think this could see some play. White Tiger, 3 play point 3/2 with ward, can't be targeted by enemy spells and effects for Havencraft. It can be targeted by stuff like Zombie Party, Salamander, or Breath. It's really likely that your opponent will have follower with 2 attack when you play this on 3. I don't know if you can run this over Grimnir. Into the Looking Glass, neutral, 2 play point spell, draw a card, change all cards in your hand and in play that cost 7 play points or less into neutral cards. So this lets you combo with stuff like Alice, and it seems ridiculous at first glance, but I've had a lot of time to think about this one. I think it's really situational, don't you think? I mean, I guess it draws a card, so it's not like a 2 play point do nothing, but you make your stuff neutral, you can buff it with Alice, you can have a board, and that's if they don't have like wide board clears, which there are a lot of in Shadowverse. Yeah, I think this is like okay. Maybe for neutral decks. I think it's situational. I think it's a card that we have to see the environment that it's played in. If there's a really powerful synergy out there, then maybe we could see play. I don't know. It still just seems like it's not worth it. Abby the Axe Girl, 2 play point 2/2, Forestcraft Silver, Clash, gain +2/+0 until the end of the turn. It's a default 2/2 that trades up. This is good. This is good. I don't know if Forest is the class that needs it. Forest is kind of constrained by the fact that you have stuff like Roach as your main win condition in like every deck. Trades up really well. Kills Grimnir, for example. Grimnir kills it back though, which is kind of sad, but not bad at all. Elf Twins Assault, gold card for Forest, deal X damage to 2 random enemy followers, X equals the number of neutral cards in your hand. Better than Draconic Fist on paper, or Dragonoot Fist rather. If you have Into the Looking Glass, for example, this could deal a lot of damage, but it's only to 2 followers, 2 random enemy followers. I don't know how effective this will be. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Potentially powerful, but yeah, situational for sure. So say you have Grimnir. Sometimes Forest doesn't even run Grimnir. Sometimes you just run Ancient Elf, so I don't know. I guess you're running a neutral, like, focus Forest, you'd run Grimnir instead. You have Grimnir and, like, what? Like, a lot of the good Forest cards you want to play in the early game are all Forest cards and not neutrals, so, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem, like, amazing. Woodland Band, a Forest Amulet, 3 play point bronze. At the end of your turn, give all allied followers +2/+2 if there are at least 4 followers with a different name that are in play, then destroy this amulet. Yeah, this doesn't seem good. It's too expensive at a crucial turn, which is turn 3, right before the evolve turn. As Forest, you generate fairies, which all have the same name, so this doesn't seem good. Odile Black Swan for Shadowcraft, a gold 6 cost 5/4 that summons an enemy Odette and evolves this. This does a salamander, kind of like a Salamander's Breath that goes face at the end of your turn. So if you summon the Odette and you trade into it, you're essentially playing a 6 play point 6/1 that does 2 damage to everything, but you got the evolve for free. So if you play this, trade to something else, trade some smaller minion into the Odette, then destroy it itself with the Odile. Yeah, this is because it's a board clear too. Yeah, this is good. Odette White Swan, gold. Summon an enemy Odile, then evolve this follower. So if you summon an enemy Odile, you end up with a 5-1, which is worse. But you heal, so you get 5-3. Restore 2 defense to all allies isn't really that valuable, though, because it's kind of hard to get things to stick. Unless you're playing something like Alana, I guess. And you can heal your own face also. Because it heals your face, and also heals your followers. But the healing the follower stuff, I don't know, that's never been good. That's never been good, because, like, it's so easy to remove. Yeah, I think this is worse than Odile by a lot. You do get a 5-6 rush, though. You can't finish the Odile that you summon off with something smaller, because you heal, you don't damage. Yeah, I think this is worse than Odile, but it's not terrible. Alright, let's talk about the New Haven legendary Lion of the Golden City. 7 play point 5/5. Fanfare, put an amulet that costs 5 play points or less from your hand into play, then destroy that amulet. The subtraction happens when you have the card in your hand already. That means you have to have it in your hand pretty early while you play stuff throughout the game. But putting a amulet that costs 5 play points or less and then destroying it immediately, it's a huge tempo swing. If you can reduce this card's cost significantly, this becomes like a gigantic tempo swing. Yeah, and you can select it too. It's not random amulet, so you select it. So you can pop in like a Divine Birdsong, an Aria, like a Dual Flames. There's a lot of amulets that can work with this that aren't good, that become good if you play with this. Yeah, this card is really cool. I like this one a lot. Ephemera, Angelic Slacker, 4 play points at 1-3. That's not off to a good start, is it? But it is ambush. Whenever an allied follower attacks, give that follower +1/+0 till the end of the turn. But it's at a crucial turn, turn 4. Where you're supposed to evolve to take back the board, and it's really bad stats. It doesn't die to stuff like Salamander's Breath. Also, if you evolve it and trade in, like, it loses the mystique of being an ambush that just buffs your dudes. Can it work? No, there's a lot of clears, right? You just clear the other ones, like the minions that aren't this one. It's not, I don't think this is worth it. Tilting at Windmills. Can I just say I love the name of this card, and I also love the art. Don Quixote is awesome. 7 play point, Dragon Amulet, gold. Whenever you play a neutral follower, give it Storm and destroy it at the end of your turn. Potentially incredibly powerful. Whenever you play a neutral follower. It's not when it comes into play, so it has to be played from hand. So like, you can use like Kakaitis 13/13 Storm, but it's a huge setup. Your opponent can see it coming. It's also a 7 play point do nothing. We've seen how amulets that are really heavy and do nothing will work out, right? Even in Dragon that has ramp, 7 play points is a heavy price to ask. I think it's gonna be a meme. I don't think it's gonna be good, but I like it. Usher of Styx. 2 play point 2/2 Shadowcraft Silver. Necromancy 6, put one of your highest cost followers that has been destroyed during this match into your hand. This is good in Atomy, right? You play this in Atomy. I don't know if you played it in anything else. No, I like the effect, but I don't think it's that good. It is a 2 play point 2/2 though. It's gonna be good in take 2, I think, for sure. Big Knuckle Bodyguard, Bloodcraft, 4 play point 3/4. Yeah, this is good. It's a bronze that destroys a follower with 3 or less. As a fanfare. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, this is really good. it's just removal. Yeah, this is awesome. Old man and old woman, Swordcraft officer, silver, 3 play point 1/4, can attack 2 times per turn. This is actually really awesome because it's an officer. You can buff it with stuff like White General, for example. 4 health is pretty hard to deal with. If you evolve it against Bane too, so yeah, this card is actually potentially really powerful. I like this one a lot. I also love that it's just called Old Man and Old Woman. That's just ridiculous to me, but I love it. Draconic Lance, Dragoncraft, 6 play point, silver spell, destroy an enemy follower if you play a follower. Originally costs at least 5. Yeah, this card is bad. 6 play point, single target removal. It's not valuable. Like, think of Themis. It clears the whole board. If you play a card that costs at least 5 play points, you change this to 4, so you have to ramp to 5 first. You have to have this in your hand, and then you still just only have a 4 play point, single target removal that can't target amulets, like Execution does. That doesn't deal damage like Down to Death does. Yeah, I don't know. This does not seem very good. Alright, now moving away from the Twitter, there are also cards that have been revealed on the PC Game website. Sword Legendary, Hero of Antiquity, 8 play point 6/10, Rush. Can't be destroyed by spells and effects. It can be destroyed by damage from effects or attacks. So, it can't be destroyed by something like Dance of Death, for example, but it can be damaged by Crimson Sorcery, something like that. I guess it's sort of competing with Alexander, but Alexander can remove like 3 things. No hard removal, so it's a trading, it just trades for days, and it eats up spells and stuff. It's so heavy though. It doesn't say if it's a commander or officer, so I actually don't know. It can't be destroyed by Bahamut, so that's something, eh? That's really cool. It can be damaged by Grimnir, though. It can be damaged by Grimnir. You know what? I think this could see play. The more I think about it, I think it could see play. It's a little heavy, but in Control Sword, I think it could see play. Let's take a look at the next one. Mysterian Grimoire here. Rune card. 3 play point 1/2. Draw 2 cards at the end of your turn. Discard all spells in your hand. Discard all spells in your hand. For a 3 play point 1/2, but it draws 2 cards. That's really good, right? Like aggro Rune, maybe? PTP, Rune maybe, discarding the spells in your hand. I don't know. I like it a lot. I like the effect a lot. I think it's really creative. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll say, yeah, this can see play. This can see play. I'll say it. Dragon card, it's a gold, 3 play point 0/5 that can't attack. But if you evolve it, it becomes a 10/10 that can attack, but destroy this follower in your turn. Now, the opponent can obviously ward up and stuff like that. If it survives one turn, you evolve it and you go face for 10 damage on turn 4. No, you play this on turn 3, turn 4, you can like remove their ward with, because like what ward are they gonna have that early, right? You can remove it with your breath, your different breaths, and you can go face for 10. Of course, the follower dies itself, but if the opponent plays like 2 spiderweb imps, you're gonna be really mad. You'll be really mad. Like potentially really powerful. The opponent can see it coming, and they have counterplay. But 5 health is a lot to deal with at turn 3. They might be trying to boost the win rates of going second. With this, I don't know. If you don't have any evolve points left and you draw this, it's terrible. It's just a 0/5 that can't attack, that you can't do anything with. Yeah, this one's hard to evaluate because it's so flip-floppy. Although, you know what? That new turtle card that restores evolution points. Something to think about, I guess. It's also a great trader. 3 play points, trade something with 10 health. If you get the perfect situation, this card is kind of bonkers. Let's talk about Caterpillar of Riddles now. It's a shadow card. Silver, 4 play point, 4/3. Give all other allied neutral followers +1/+1. Deal 2 damage to all other allied Shadowcraft followers. Now this is interesting because you can proc some last words with this. Well, you can proc Lurching Corpse with this. I love the effect. I love the effect. It's really interesting. Like I said, this expansion has been really nice for effects that are creative and interesting. And I really appreciate that. It's not just like, you know, a pile of stats. Kind of like an Alice, right? But only to neutral followers on board, not in hand. So how do you build a flood of neutral followers by turn 4? Goblins? Maybe? I don't know. If you play like Goblin... Oh, if you play like Goblin Princess and you play this, could be good. 3 health at 4, though. Not great. I don't know. Yeah, I'll say it's playable. But it's not amazing, is it? Because, like, how do you build up neutral followers by turn 4? I mean, I guess you could play it at 9 with like Goblin Princess. Even then, it's like not even that impactful that late in the game. I'll need more time to think about it, but my first impression is okay. Tove. Bloodcraft card, 2 play point 3/3, unevolved. Can't attack. When a neutral ally follower comes to play, this follower gains rush and can attack. Yo, you just play this and you play Grimoire on 3, you have a 3/3 and a 2/3. Yeah, this card is... It's good, man. And it's not for this turn. It gains rush and can attack, period. If you pull it off Air Jammer, though, it's not amazing, is it? Because then you'd need a neutral to follow up. If you have, like, if they print more neutral tools for Bloodcraft, this card has huge potential. And those are my first impressions of the new cards that have been revealed. Let me know what you thought of these cards in the comments below. I want to turn this video into a sort of open forum to discuss the new card reveals, so let me know what you think. Like the video if you did, don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Shadowverse content and Wonderland Dreams hype in the very near future. And of course, thank you to my wonderful patrons. You have my eternal gratitude, you beautiful people. If you'd like to support the channel as well, you can head on over to patreon.com/Ignideus, and if not, that's fine too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.